had people literally in real life this past couple of weeks tell a mutual friend, well, you know, that guy's a racist Christian nationalist. And I think there's a temptation sometimes for people in our circles to almost prove them correct by being a caricature of yourself when it's stuff you don't mean or whatever. And the last thing you need to do is give, let's say, to use a term from a few years ago, a blue-pilled NPC reason to go, see that.
Yep. That's a very good point. We were talking about that beforehand, and I think that's a very good point that we need to keep in mind. Like we've been provoked so much with all the weird left stuff that was shoved down our throats. It's very easy to be like, you know what, it's my turn to swing back, and just be careful with that. I'm not saying that it's good to make some points. It's good to go out there.
Absolutely. But there's people that will always take your points that are legitimate and twist them into, he's a racist Christian nationalist.
Exactly.
That's not what I mean, is to not make legitimate points and be a truth teller.
Yep.
But to just give someone ammo that's unnecessary and it's something you don't actually mean is sort of, you're sort of helping the enemy.
Exactly. And don't feed into that, because that also brings us back to Logi's me again. That's exactly what they want, right? The great deceiver, he wants to divide, and hence the word diavolo, to divide. You've heard that 100 times, but it's true. Wrap your mind around the word. It means to literally divide. So anything that divides is of the devil. Anything that brings people together is of God. And obviously with keeping certain things in mind when I say bring things together. I'm not talking about ecumenism here. But,
right.
Let's make that very clear here. But at the end of the day, we are representatives of our faith. It doesn't mean, be super soft, but it's more of like know when to be soft and know when to be hard. You know what I mean? It's like know when to turn the other cheek and know when to overturn the tables. Like as Christ would, right? No to say, Satan, get behind me. He wasn't just, arbitrarily turning the other cheek. Christ gave examples where you have to push back, but just know when to do that, and know that if you go too far, you open yourself up for temptation to go further. And you also, as you said, prove the point of the other side, and it creates a bad problem for a lot of people, including yourself. Right. So the other thing is, like, if you're going to collect all these conspiracy theories and all this stuff, that's fine. If you're using it to create a map of reality where you could see where to go, what direction to take, how to apply this to your life. But if you're just collecting that information to just regurgitate it out to people, that time is kind of over and done with, because there's real problems on the table. You could have done that a couple of years ago. That's fine. But now it's done. We need to act.